Welcome back to Jessica's Craft Time. My name's Jessica and today we have a Whip and Chat. Whip standing for work in progress and chat, just chatting about what we've been up to this week. So grab whatever you're working on and let's sit down and have a bit of a chat. This is a Diamond Dots kit. So the unboxing will be coming up probably Saturday on the page, on the channel, sorry. And this is a kit from Diamond Dots, the DOZ. It is a pre-framed, so it's already in its frame. It's got a frame on it. It's on a board. So once you've done it, it comes with some hardware to hang it, or you could just, depending on what you're hanging it on, you could just hang the board. And it's a square kit and I'm absolutely loving it. It's an absolute pleasure to work on. The drills are just fitting in perfectly. There's small amount of gapping, but you need a little bit of gapping just so you don't get popping drills. And it's been, amazing to work on. I got this one from Shoalhaven. So that's the unboxing that's coming up. They've got a bit of a special running this month because it's a birthday. So you'll hear all about that in the unboxing. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, this has been really, really fun to work on. I'm really enjoying working on it. And that's all I've really done this week. I haven't done anything else. No, I did a lie. I did a small sparkle kit. Just something between, do a couple of small ones. I like to do a couple of small ones here and there, just to have a little bit of a completion. This one, can't even remember the size on it. Do I have a ruler here? I do. Let me see if I can get this ruler stuck. This one is 34-ish centimeters by 46, 47 centimeters. So it's not huge, but it's not overly small either. And yeah, it's the first Diamond Dots kit I've done in square, and I do like the pre-framed ones, but in saying that, they are a little bit more expensive, so just keep that in mind. I think I need new wax in the end of my pen. Oops, spilling everything here. So what have you all been up to this week? We've had not an overly eventful week. Weekend, Saturdays Mark has Russian school now, so that's sort of all day Saturday. That's not all day, but it's 9 till 1, and then the traffic in our area on a Saturday has got crazy. So where he does it is about not even a 10-minute drive from home, and it can take over half an hour to get home on a Saturday. But I went and was babysitting a friend's child while he was at Russian school. She had an appointment she needed to get to, so I went and looked after her child for an hour or so she could do her thing. And then Saturday afternoon, we went for a bit of a walk. So where we live is right on the Royal National Park in New South Wales, in Sydney. And it's a beautiful area. So we decided that we'd go for a little bit of a walk on Saturday afternoon before the sun sort of started dipping down and it started getting really cold again. And it was lovely. There's so many walking tracks. We don't even have to go out and around into the main part of the national park. Where we live, the national park starts right behind Mark's school. So we just headed up towards the school, parked the car, found a track and went for a walk. And Mark wanted to keep exploring all these little tracks, which weren't so much fun. They had some sharp plants. But what was really pretty was there was so many little native flowers out. There was purples and yellows, and they were just sort of popping out everywhere and in the undergrowth. And I'm like, wow, every time you take another few steps, you're like, oh, there's some more pretty flowers. And then we went just off the side of the track. There was some rocks. So we went and sat up on the rocks and had a snack and a bit of a break. And it's a lot of sandstone there. So Mark was having fun playing with the sandstone rocks and breaking them up. And it was just really nice to get out and go for a little bit of a walk. We did some Pokemoning while we were there. Because we're all loving our Pokemon game at the moment. So we got a little bit of that in. And that was our Saturday. We didn't really do much after that. By the time we got home from school, had something to eat. It was sort of 2:30 in the afternoon. And by 4 o'clock here, it's starting to get a bit chilly each night. We do have a cold front moving across at the moment, and it's getting chilly. So up at the camp, up in the Blue Mountains, I reckon it'll be snowing up there this weekend. It was definitely cooler than what it has been. The heat has definitely been running well. And because I'm doing a little bit of work at the moment, which is data entry, I now understand why office buildings are warmer. When you walk into office buildings and you're like, it's really warm in here. I realize how cold you get just sitting at a computer and not moving really. So that's been, yeah, the heat has been running. I think I'm going to have to pull the blind down next to the window where I sit, just because I reckon I'm getting a bit of cold come through the glass door near where I sit. So that's going to have to be pulled down. And we had, I'm not sure if I said anything, we had the NBN installed here a couple of weeks ago, and the guy had to get up in our roof. And when he came back down, he's like, just to let you know, there's quite a lot of mouse droppings up there. And when I moved a little bit of the insulation, I could see tracks and like nests of them. I don't think he actually saw any mice, but he could definitely see that there was a presence of mice up in the roof, which didn't excite me at all. And then of course I've been waking up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I can hear them scurrying around near the wall in our bedroom. And our bedroom wall is the edge of the house. So it's been making me nervous. So we finally, our roof space, the manhole to get up in our roof is in a really awkward spot. So now hopefully the lighting's not too bad. My ring light's playing up on me. It's in a really, where the manhole is, the people that owned the house before, the family, had divided the garage, and that's where my craft table is out there, which I haven't been at for so long and I'm missing it, but life's been getting in the way and it's cold out there, so I've got to go and run a heater before I go out there. Anyway, so we're just doing a little bit inside at the moment. But in the roof, we were able to get, I got some mouse and rat bait, like throw packets that you basically just throw in a cavity. They're designed to go into roof spaces and walls and behind fridges, into hard to reach spaces, and the bait's contained within the packet. The mice chew through the packet to get to the bait. So I thought there's no way we can set traps or anything up there because it's too hard to get up into the roof. So like it's not easy that we could easily put it up and get up there and check it on a regular basis, because underneath the manhole is a shelf which has got storage boxes. So we have to take all the boxes down to then get into the roof space, which is hard to get into. So we've thrown some packages up there, and then I went, look, I better go around and just have a look at our unit for our heating, because I was in the bath one night and the bathroom window opens up to where the heater is, where the heater unit is, and I went, it's sounding a little bit funny. I reckon there's something leaning up against it. Well, down the side of the house here is, I find it a really scary spot. It's overgrown. It's sort of damp. I don't like it at all. But I put on my work boots and I went, right, I've got to get over this fear of it. It's just, there's going to be spiders and stuff, but suck it up. I've got long pants on. I've got my boots on. I've got a long top on. Let's do it. And when I got down there, I realised, I knew there was a bit of rubbish down the side of the house, because our neighbours' bins, you've got the side of the house and then you've got a garden bed and then you've got their driveway. And that's where their bins are. And I knew that there was a bit of rubbish down there because I'd seen it. I just hadn't dealt with it. And I knew there was a few balls. Well, when I went to check the heating unit, I'm like, hang on, there's a lot of stuff here that needs to be trimmed back. I realized that the plants in the garden had grown up and were leaning up on the roof and on the guttering. I'm like, this all has to come down. So my 10-minute job of going around there just to check the heater ended up being a 2-hour job. And I ended up cutting all the plants back off the roof, off the guttering. There's a couple that are higher that I didn't realize until I started cleaning the gutters that I'd missed them, but I have got so much cut back. It's going to take me, our waste bins for green waste, for all our plant matter and stuff, they only get collected once every 2 weeks. And of course, last week they'd already been collected. And I have 2 full bins and this massive pile of stuff still to get rid of. So the ones that are, they're not on the roof, but they're close enough that I want them removed, are going to just have to wait. But I've got a big, I think it's like a 50-litre plastic tub. I filled it with the rubbish that was down there that has blown out of their bin. The amount of balls that I threw back over the fence, there was a couple I just threw in the bin because I'm like, these balls are past their best before date. They're broken. Then they can't be pumped back up. So I threw them out. I threw all the other balls that I found back over the fence, well, back over the plants and back into their yard. I'm like, I really need to go and talk to them and say, look, can you be a little bit more careful with your rubbish disposal, because I am getting a lot of rubbish down the side of my house, and we're not in an area that rubbish really blows off the street. So the rubbish has got to come from one of the houses round, and it has to be coming from their house. The worst thing was, once I cut all the plants down, clambered over, we have the 2 big bins that I had to sit there and chop everything down as much as I could so I could fit as much as I could in the bins. And then I went and dragged what I could out. And then there was one more section that a tree had grown up on the roof and died. It had been smothered by this vine and had created like a big 6-seater dining room table worth of a bridge from the plants and the garden bed up onto the roof. And it was just solid with this vine. I had so many leaves and twigs drop down on me trying to pull this thing down, that when I came in to have a shower, when I'd finished, I actually stripped off in the bath because there was so much falling off me. I'm like, I don't want to do this on the floor. I'm going to do it in the bath, and then I can sweep the bath out and contain it at least a little bit. But after I cleared everything out, then I got back in there and pulled more down. So now I've got 2 big piles, but I've just sort of separated them between the heaters so they're not leaning on the heaters or anything. The heaters still have a good airflow around them. And then I'm like, well, I've done all this work. I might as well get back up and clean the gutters. Yuck. The gutters were full. And the bit under the tile, so where you've got the gutter and then the tile overlaps, the bit under I couldn't get to. I'm like, that's okay. I'll wait for it to rain, which we've had a little bit of rain. I'm just waiting for it to sort of, for us to have just like a good couple of downpours, and I'll get back up there, and the water should have helped move some of that dirt that was under, that was just a bit harder. My hand was getting quite sore trying to get under it. I was also scared of what I was going to find. I found this slug. It was huge. It was disgusting. It was like this big. It was huge. And that was living in the guttering. I'm like, this is gross. But the worst thing was, I'm like, what's that? What's that on the roof? I'm like, And I touched it. I had like a little trowel up there with me trying to scoop out some of the dirt and that had built up, and all the plant matter that had been decomposing in the gutters. I'm like, what's that? And I touched it and it wobbled. I'm like, what's on the roof that's wobbling? And it was, yay big. It was fairly big. And the middle of it was wobbly. At first I thought it was a plastic bag filled of jelly. No, it wasn't. It was a dirty nappy, disposable nappy. And it was stuck. It had like melted onto the tiles. So it took ages to it was kind of just almost out of my reach as well. So I was using the trowel to kind of lift it off the roof. And it kind of melted onto the roof, which was just as disgusting. I didn't open it up. I don't know how dirty it was, but if you've ever used disposable nappies, when they get really wet, they have like a gel inside them that grows. It absorbs all the liquid, and the whole thing, because it's been on the roof in the weather. And I'm like, how could a disposable nappy have got on our roof here? So the roof is around the side of the house. This was not on the edge of the house. No one could have thrown it up there from the road. The only conclusion was that the neighbours had thrown the nappy on the roof. Why would someone throw a dirty nappy on someone's roof? I have no idea. I don't talk to these neighbours. We might wave, but I've never had a confrontation with them. And they've thrown a nappy, and I'm up on the roof, and I'm balancing on the retaining wall, trying to clean the gutter out. I'm like, I don't have a bag with me. I throw it back over the fence. I'm like, you can deal with your own dirty nappies. The neighbours are crazy. She was having a fight with her husband the other morning because he apparently didn't put the bin out for it to be collected by the council. He's like, it's on the street. The council just hasn't come. And I was out there and I almost felt like yelling over to them going, yeah, no, the council hasn't collected the bins yet. Mine's still full. And they've thrown a dirty nappy on the roof. That's just disgusting. It's just gross. So now it's going to take me a good couple of weeks, because our bins only get emptied every 2 weeks. And I'm not sure if I'm going to fit what I've cut down already in the next 2 bins. I suppose it depends how much time I want to waste. I was really annoyed because I was cutting one of the branches down, and I have this ratchet secateurs, which you clip on you make your first cut, and then you pull the bottom bit down again. It kind of ratchets and gives you more strength to cut through, and I absolutely love them. I broke the blade on that. Then I found the nappy. I found all this rubbish, and now I've made a huge mess around the side there with all this stuff that has to go in the bin. But that was 2 hours of really good work that I can at least get up now and clean the gutters properly. And the first night after doing it, I woke up at 6 in the morning and I could hear the mice still. I'm like, no, you're serious. Guess what? Every other morning, that was Monday, today's Thursday. So far, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday morning, I have not heard the mice in the roof or in our walls. So I've gone round the house. There's no other, I mean, I know that they can climb walls and stuff like that, but there's no other plant material up against a house that they could possibly, okay, I think I'm going to stop there or else I'm going to get too high. There's no other plant material around the side of the house that's leaning against the house that they can get up there. So hopefully I've taken away their little bridge to the roof. We put bait in the roof and we'll have no more mices, because the thought of mice running around above me. Luckily, so far, we haven't had any in the house. Well, that I've seen or noticed, or in our garage. Our garage has a lot of stuff stored in there. I haven't noticed any around. I haven't noticed any droppings or any form of them being around. So hopefully they're just in the roof. I've cut off their access. They're not smart enough to find another access, and then we've poisoned them. The other sad news was, I'm not sure if I did this after. I think I possibly did it after my Wip and Chat last week. One of our goldfish has been sick for some time now. Got these lumps on it. So I finally decided to clean the tank. And he was not well. He was like folded in half. I saw him, like I checked the tank in the morning. I'm like, uh-oh, he's not looking good. He wasn't looking good at all. So I'm like, I better clean the tank out. And I've kind of been holding off cleaning the tank because sometimes when you do that, it can shock the fish. You've got to be careful. And I kind of didn't want to shock him because I'm like, if I shock him, he's probably going to die. Well, I finally decided that I needed to clean the tank and he was not looking well. So I spent the morning researching how to euthanize a fish because he looked like he was in pain. He has been sick for some time. He's lived a good life. He's like 4-year-old. So that was not fun. Never had to do that to an animal before. It was easy. There was some fantastic videos on YouTube of how to do it. Luckily, I had everything I needed. And you basically just put them to sleep. And then you give them an extra dose of what you've used to put them to sleep, which is clove oil. That puts them to sleep. And then once they're asleep, you can see they're not moving, and yeah, then you give them a bigger dose and they just pass away in their sleep. So that was not fun to do. I had to do that last week. But we went out yesterday and I'd heard about this fish shop that had opened in one of the suburbs close by, that it was a young guy that has started his own business, that apparently he has a lot of knowledge. I'm like, great, let's go support a small business. It took us a while to find his shop because he's in an arcade, but we finally found it and we have a new fish. So we have two. The new one's name is Thing and the old one's name is Shark. So Shark is much bigger than Thing, but that's okay. They were playing a bit yesterday afternoon. They're over here. They seem to be quite happy together. Shark is definitely moving around a lot more than what he used to. I'm just saying he. They could be she's. I have no idea. They're fish. So let's hope Thing lives for at least 4 years. I do generally have a pretty good track record with fish and how long they last. The first one we got died really quickly, which makes me think he was already sick. And then we got a replacement for him, and that is Shark. And Shark's been with us for nearly 4 years. So we'll see how long the next one's with us. But we've replaced our goldfish. And that has sort of been the week. Oh no, Sunday we went out for lunch for hubby's grandmother's 85th birthday, and we went back to Kickin' In, the seafood place where they cook all your food in a bag. So they like sous vide it with a sauce, and it's amazing. It tastes amazing. Loved it. So glad we went back again. Now one of my new favorite places to go. The seafood tastes amazing. The sauces are good. There's stuff there that Mark will eat. And that was really good. That was really, really yummy. Messy, but yummy. But they do actually do takeaways. So I think I'd kind of, as much as I like the restaurant experience, I think maybe it would be nice if you got takeaway and you could do it at home, where it doesn't matter if you've, got sauce dripping down your face, and you can easily just get up and wash your hands instead of wearing gloves. Like it would be a lot easier to eat not wearing gloves, but that was good, and I'm pretty sure she liked it. She loves her seafood, so that was fun. Then we came back here and had cake. My mother-in-law's found this place that does an apple tart, and it's got this amazing like pastry crust, this soft filling, and apples on the top, and it's delicious. I could eat the whole thing, so that was really yummy. We had that instead of like an actual cake. And then we went and played. My mother-in-law took Mark across the road. They went for a bit of a play, and then hubby got the drone out to show his dad. So we had a bit of a fly of the drone, and that was our weekend done. Monday's when I decided to pull all the plants apart. Made a huge mess, but that's all good. I'll get to cleaning it eventually. And the rest of the week's just been the same. We're expected a really cold front, and I thought it was chilly this morning. I didn't want to get out of bed. It was pretty cold. And when I got in the car to go to drop Mark off at school, yeah, it was, so I'm just going to see, I don't know the difference between Fahrenheit and Celsius, so I'm just going to look it up. So it was 6 degrees Celsius, which is 42.8 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm like, yep, no wonder that was cold. I'm like, Mark, can I drop you off at the gate today? Because he normally likes me to walk him up to where they drop their bags. But I knew it had been chilly, but I didn't realize it was quite that chilly. And I forgot to grab my jumper and my scarf on the way out. So I'm like, and then it started to drizzle with rain. I'm like, can I drop you off at the gate, mate? Because Mummy kind of forgot her jumper and her scarf, and she's cold, and it's fine in the car because the heating's going, but you've got a jumper and a hat and a raincoat, and Mummy's cold. He's like, yeah, that's fine. And I don't often drop him off at the gate. So he's like, I'm going to walk really slow. So he started walking really slow up to where he drops his bag. And then he picked up, and then he got distracted by a tree. And then one of his friends came along with their parents, and he's going to the parent, why is my mummy standing there at the gate? Because I'm standing there watching him. Why is my mummy standing there watching me? I'm like, oh, because you're my little man, and I don't really want you to go away yet. You're off to school. So he's off to school in the cold. In saying that, all their classrooms have got split systems so they can heat or cool their classrooms. And I was up at the uniform shop yesterday, and I'm only new to the school, and my experience was so different because of COVID, about getting to know where things are and where to look for things. And there was a mum coming in with new parents, and they came in to get the uniform, and she's like, I'll give you a tour. I'm like, oh, well, can I come? I'll come with you. So I get to know some of the places as well. So I found out where Lost Property was. I wasn't quite sure where it was, but we found it. And all the classrooms have got the heating. So we popped our head into one of the classrooms with one of the new little girls, is going to be her classroom. And we're like, oh, it's so nice and warm in here. So now I understand why Mark comes at the end of the day and we're standing there, and where we pick them up, it's quite open and it's shaded and it's cold. So I always make sure I take a scarf and have enough clothes on to stand and wait for him. And the kids all come running out of school and they have no jumpers on. And we're all like, why are you not wearing jumpers? Well, I know why, because I've been sitting in a nice, warm, toasty classroom. So at least they don't get cold at school. But yeah, so he's off to school. I still can't believe he's off to school. He's been doing so well and he got so excited. They have a list of words that they have to remember and then they get tested on. And the last list has been going since last term. We're like, I don't know even. We're towards the end of term, all term. So finally, last week on Friday, he comes home with a new list. He finally remembered to tell his teacher that he needed testing. We get home, we look at the new list, and he can say every single word already. I'm like, awesome, Monday you can take it in. We'll test you. No, it must have been Thursday he came home with it, because I'm like, probably shouldn't take it back Friday, but we'll work on it over the weekend and you can get tested on Monday. Well, his teacher's been away all week and the substitute teacher is not testing, and I was so excited for him to have returned it within a couple of days and move up the next level. He was so excited, and it's been sitting there all week waiting for him to be tested. So hopefully this week, hopefully today or tomorrow, they test him, because he'll be really sad if he doesn't get to go up to the next level. I hope he does. It gives us a weekend to work on it, but we've got a long weekend here this weekend. So hubby's home on Monday. Not sure what we're going to do. We haven't planned anything, so we'll just see what happens. I don't know. Maybe you can help me go and cut down all the bits around the side of the house into smaller bits, so when the bin's emptied I just have to lift it up and put it in the bin. I don't know. We'll work something out. We might just go for another walk. It's going to depend. I think the weather's going to be pretty cold and not very nice over the weekend, but we can always rug up and go for a walk. It was nice on the weekend because it was kind of chilly, so it was nice walking because you weren't getting too hot. So we'll see. I don't know. We haven't got much else. I made some jam in my microwave pressure cooker, Tupperware pressure cooker. Made some jam, except I've now learnt you don't make jam with all just raspberries in the pressure cooker. There's too much liquid. Or either there's too much liquid, or I didn't have the seal closed properly on my pressure cooker, because I heard a sizzle in the microwave while it was cooking, and I opened the microwave and it looked like a murder scene. All the raspberry liquid had splurted out everywhere, and that reminds me I do need to go and clean it again, because I noticed when I put something in there yesterday, the back wall wasn't quite cleaned, and I had this red sticky mess all over my microwave. The jam ended up working out in the end, but I just had a bit of a mess. Oh, I missed a whole section. I can't push this. Let's see if I can move this way a little bit. Oh, that probably bounced. So yeah, I've got an unboxing coming up later in the week. I've filmed it already. I just haven't had a chance to put it up. That one is starring Mark and his obsession with popping those plastic air pocket things that come in your mail now. So he's going to be in that one. He really wanted to do the unboxing with me, so I apologize for the noise. He's a 5-year-old who doesn't sit still. So I got lots of goodies off them in that delivery. I haven't got much else to come in, just because I don't have much space and I haven't had as much time to work on things. So I've got quite a few projects out there I want to do, but I couldn't resist. She had these square diamond dots on sale because she's not stocking them, only via customer order after this because they're too big. She does a flat rate $10 shipping and it costs them too much to ship. So if we're going to get them through her, we'll have to pay extra shipping in the future. Plus they're a much higher priced because they're pre-framed. In saying that, they're just such a pleasure to work on. So whether I get any more in the future, I'm not sure. But I couldn't pass up an opportunity of a free gift that she's giving this month, which reminds me I want to go and put something in the post to her. Other than that, it's been work. So I hope you've all been well. Welcome to any new subscribers on the page. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy. I have been a bit quiet with all my other crafts at the moment, but that's just my life. And haven't had time to actually do much other than mummy duties and a bit of work and a little bit of diamond painting. And like this has been going for days because I literally will sit on it for 5 minutes and then I'm like, oh, now I've got to go and do something. Or I was cooking rice the other day. I'm like, oh, I've got 10 minutes that it's cooking. I can sit down for 10 minutes until that buzzer goes off. So hopefully I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed with things at the moment. So hopefully they get back on track soon. But thank you for watching. I might wrap that up now. I hope you have a lovely week and I'll see you all next week in my Whip and Chat next week. So take care for now and see you soon. Bye.